Rev TV brings the world of motorsports into your home with over 100 live race series such as MotoGP, IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Extreme E, World Superbike, and the newly launched all-electric E1 series. From 2 wheels to 4, from land to sea, your destination is Rev TV.
Tonight, the PSR Premier Sim Racing Winter Series takes a stop at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Welcome in to Wednesday night coverage here on Green Flag TV. I am Derrick Watson, sitting next to Skye, Schreck this evening. And of course, Dustin, Ollis is pushing the buttons, making us look and sound good down in the production truck. Well, Skye, here we are, week 3 of this series. Of course, it's random content each week. And this week, it's mini stocks at Bristol.
This is going to be a fun combo. I was watching some of the drivers run this in the practice session and the qualifying session that we've had before this race. These cars are a little loose. They seem really fun to drive, and I think these drivers are going to have a handful tonight.
The next 2 races are a mystery. Some drivers have already done some sleuthing around on those track images, or track logos, I should say, but I think those cars are still a complete mystery. Now, this series does have a points standings. We've been going on, by the way. Mark Kalin's in the lead, 1 point over Bradley Holly, and a couple points over Thomas Sink. Lowendick, Evans, Walters, Loving, Richard Regan, Barney, and James Morgan are your top 10 after these 2 races. Well, here we are, just about ready to get started. Qualifying is just about to kick underway. But before we do that, let's go ahead and thank tonight's race sponsor for the PSR Winter Series. First off, let's stop and tell about Premier Sim Racing. You know, you can stay connected with Premier Sim Racing by scanning the QR code that appears on your screen to follow along on social media and join their official Discord. You can get league updates, race schedules, and everything you need to be part of the PSR community. And boy, it's a great community. We'll see some out hard racing tonight, and I hope you're encouraged to join. Also, let's get down to trackside here and have a good time. Right now, we're about, Skye, we're almost double qualifying. That's how fast it happens at Bristol. And I think everybody's just about done.
You only a 3-minute qualifying session here, so you got to get your lap times in pretty quick. And I am continuing to see cars just get very loose on this racetrack. I think we've seen a couple drivers do it in qualifying. We got one spinning right now. This is going to be an interesting race. I said it earlier, but these drivers are really going to have a hard time maybe holding on to this car at this track. It's a combo they've never ran before.
Well, the first heat is set based upon the qualifying order. The first heat will be our odd numbered qualifiers, so 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. And we're going to go to the grid in just a moment, and we'll watch that happen on through as soon as we transition into the next phase here. And happy you're with us here at daytime at Bristol. So up front is Matt Gagnon in the 14. He'll be next to Richard Regan Jr. up in P2. P3 is Reese Bogue in the 4, next to Ted Lowendick back in the 13. Steve Loving's in P5. He's next to Zachary Burnt back in P6. P7's Nathan Deering in that blue and green car, and he's next to Nick Hunter with the Flames on the mini stock. P9 is Brandon Walter in 99. He's next to Mike Toomer Jr. back in P10. And the last couple cars is Nicholas Acosta in 816 back in P11. Well, Skye, here we are. Our first heat up on the board is either 8 minutes or 30 laps. And I believe based upon the math of our qualifying times, I think it's going to be 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's looking to be 8 minutes. Qualifying times across the board mostly sat in the 17-second to 17.5-second range. So we're going to be pretty close to that 30-lap mark, but I think it's more likely to end when we hit the 8-minute timer. Everybody's gridded up, and the pace car will pull off. We get ready to go for Heat 1.
Remember, these mini stocks, Skye, are still, I would say, on the verge of fairly new to iRacing. They came out in the 2025 year, so there's probably some drivers in this field who've heard about these cars, but before today have maybe never actually, sat inside one or driven them in iRacing.
Yeah, this is a combo they've certainly never really run. Mini stocks don't run at Bristol on iRacing official races typically, so this is going to be a whole new experience. You see the drivers trying to get any grip into their tires because these things are going to be loose on the start.
Look at them all over the start grid here. Pace car's got the lights off, but he's going to keep going around, and I think, yeah, get 2 laps here, so it is Bristol, and this is going to be exciting. Remember, Christian, this is just half the field, or not Christian, sorry, Skye. I was talking to Christian earlier. There's still another half of the field for a heat and then a full feature race later. So there's lots that will be going on later on this busy racetrack.
It's going to be an 11-car field. These cars are still trying to get grip into the tires. Usually we don't see them do it this much, this long. They're only finally now starting to get in line as we hit the back straightaway. We're dooring each other on the front row here too. This is going to be a good one.
This is going to get interesting. Lights time by. The pace car is going to make that infamous left-hand turn down the pit road out of turn number 4. It's going to be in the hands of the front row. This will be actually going to be a couple drivers up front. We're green flag racing. Matt Gagnon takes the green flag, and here we go for 8 minutes of racing at Bristol. So Gagnon's up front, down to the bottom of turn number 1 and 2. He's got Nathan Deering and Richard Regan Jr. behind him. Regan falls back in line to Skye, and they're quickly already 3 wide at Bristol.
Yeah, 3 wide is going to be a little bit risky here. We've already got 1 car. That's the 28 ripping it off the outside wall up there. Zachary Burnt was trying to make something happen after starting pretty far up in this heat race, but is unable to do it right now. He'll drop down to the middle and try to get some more time. That high line doesn't seem to be working too bad. Our leaders are all ringing the bottom, but we've seen some drivers make a little bit of momentum up in the middle.
You saw that was Ted Lowendick in the blue car who backed up, by the way. But up front, this is Matt Gagnon. He's been run down by the green car of Reese Bogue. Both of those are drivers at Regan Bogue Motorsports, as is your 3rd place driver, now your 2nd place driver, in Richard Regan Jr.
Side by side all over the field, but the one between Bogue and Regan Jr. is the furthest one up as Matt Gagnon continues to hold that 1st place position. The 4 is going to slip a little bit loose out of the corner there on the high side. One of a couple cars getting loose already in this race. He'll get clear of Regan Jr. as they hit the front stretch, and now Reese Bogue will be up to 2nd as we've got a big move going on further back.
Yeah, Zachary Burnt and Nick Hunter back there made contact at all. Well, did I see Nick Hunter going around? I thought I did. He got dumped by someone. We'll find a replay in a second. I think I knew it was, but I don't want to call a wrong name. But Hunter on, around, and way out to the back of the field here as Matt Gagnon's down to get another corner.
Everybody kind of ripping that inside now. You're seeing some drivers a little further deep in the field, like Regan trying a bit of a higher entry, running more of a middle line and then swooping it down on exit. It remains to be seen if that's actually going to work. Regan did get a pretty good exit that time, gave a shot to the 4 of Reese Bogue down the front straightaway. But he's still looking for a run that would actually put him ahead of that 4 car.
Well, right now they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars in a row, single file. And they're running actually almost all single file here, Skye. For the moment you see again, Regan's trying to find a different line here. But let's talk about the mini stock for a second. These cars look fun, and it looks, maybe from the camera shots we got, Skye, this is kind of all-out racing, but it's really not. These cars are a bit to handle. These things, these are not flat out. You have to lift, you have to control the car, or it'll come out from under you.
Yeah, and I mentioned it in practice and qualifying. Cars coming out from under you is something we saw a lot, as this is that spin that happened earlier on. It's contact with Ted Lowendick, the 13, that turns him around.
Makes me think that maybe, I want to say maybe they thought they had an idea of kind of bumping to increase the speed maybe, and it just didn't go well, but I don't know. But here's Regan making the move again on Reese Bogue. These guys are co-team owners back there in 2nd and 3rd, fighting pretty hard here. Regan digs to the bottom. Now we're looking forward. This is from Steve Loving's point of view. He's kind of in the proverbial catbird seat.
Well, Loving sits back there in 4th right now, right behind the side-by-side battle. I wonder if Loving is just going to follow through whoever makes this move, which right now it looks like it's going to be the 4 of Reese Bogue on the top, making that high line work. We've seen it work pretty well for defending and passing in this race. It's not the greatest on tire wear, but for pure speed, it'll work pretty well.
Working pretty well so far. 27 has that sort of white, red, and green. Probably different things come to mind when you see it, Skye. For me, it's sort of the old Castrol GTX style paint scheme. Remember these drivers, because of the knowledge of the last-second car, they're not sure what to paint. So none of these drivers are using trading paints. These are all basic iRacing paint schemes on the broadcast view. And so you'll see some cars look odd. There's Richard Regan with the flames on the race car. Reese Bogue with the flat two-tone look. So some different designs throughout the field.
Zachary Burnt smacked the wall pretty hard about a lap or two ago. That was why I got all excited there. He's having some internet issues too, blinking in and out of the session. So problems for that 28 car of Zachary Burnt as he currently rides back in 8th.
Well, let's watch what you saw. Here's Burnt up top. There he is up on the wall and got it away. And one thing about these cars, Skye, is, I mean, technically you can pit these cars in iRacing. You don't want to. You'll be there forever putting fuel in these cars or getting tires on these cars. These are not exactly the quickest pit stops in iRacing as we're now side by side.
This is back in that battle for P7. You've got Ted Lowendick. Excuse me, this is not the battle. We got battles going on all over the racetrack right now. This is Brandon Walter, who we are... Oh, no, this is Ted Lowendick. I'm showing a different paint scheme.
You were right.
I'm showing a different paint scheme for Brandon Walter, and I'm getting confused on who it is. But this is Brandon Walter right in front of him in the 99, Ted Lowendick behind him in the 13 car. I blame trading paints.
That's fine. That's a good excuse. That's a common thing to blame. Boy, Walter almost blamed Ted Lowendick for being spun around. That would have been Lowendick's second victim of the night had that happened here. By the way, this race has moved along. We're down to almost 2.5 minutes left on the board here. We started at 8 minutes. So time is quickly flying by.
That it is, like you said, only 2.5 minutes left. Bogue is continuing to hold that second position, but Richard Regan is doing everything he can to try to steal it away. These two have been racing hard all race long, and while they do that, Matt Gagnon has put the foot to the floor. He's opened up a 1 second gap from that 14 car back to the 4 in P2 as he looked off the rear bumper of Reese Bogue. Richard Regan trying around goes the 99 of Brandon Walter.
Walter around himself in the back view there, and then you see him getting back on track and getting that car moving again. But look at this line right here. It just shows you that, at least in these cars at this track, this draft doesn't matter. There's not a lot of straightaway here, Skye. It's hard to get a draft. These guys are trying. It feels like they're trying to work together. That's Bogue, that's Regan, that's Loving, that's Nathan Deering. Brandon Walter just got it way to the bottom, touched that yellow line, and on around he went, all by himself.
Yeah. You cannot clip the apron here. If you clip the apron here at all, you're going to spin. There are a couple short tracks that can work out as the 5 of Nathan Deering tries to get a move going on the 13 of Ted Lowendick. Or excuse me, this 27 of Steve Loving. Lowendick is behind him. This is not one of the short tracks that you're able to use that apron on. If you get down onto it here, you'll spin. The banking is far too high. And right now, Steve Loving on the outside is holding this spot away from Nathan Deering. I wonder if Lowendick can try to jump him up there on the top, too.
So remember this heat right here. This sets the inside lane for the main feature. It comes up in a little bit. So we'll have the running order. Remember, there's also a field inversion upcoming. So we'll talk about that when the main feature comes. But just because you finish up front doesn't mean you stay up front. So right now, side by side for P2 and 3, it is Regan, it is Bogue. And still right there is Steve Loving, hoping to get back in line right here and see if he can make a pass happen. There's Ted Lowendick. He wants to get involved. This is a 4-car battle for P2. Oh, Lowendick with the bumper.
Loving is really putting a run on this top lane. He's testing that line out, and right now it seems to be working. It's getting the 27 car a lot of momentum. The issue is the 4 of Reese Bogue is doing such a great job of defending, and the 27 doesn't have anywhere to try to pull down to the inside because he's still rocking Richard Regan right under him. So while that outside lane does seem to be working really well for Steve Loving, he's going to struggle to get above P3 as Regan continues to hound on the bottom. He's trying to put the move on Bogue there. Pretty big shot through the corner.
Well, they're going to get one more shot. This time by white flags are 3 wide. That's Richard Regan, the bottom. He made us round. White flags in the air. Remember, our leader, Matt Gagnon, took it a couple seconds ago. These guys, 5 cars, now battling for P2. Regan in the bottom. Loving up top. Lowendick and Bogue on back. Who makes a move? Who uses the bumper? Who makes an aggressive move? This is the last chance out, and no one makes a silly move. Here they come through the line. We'll get the results in a moment, but Matt Gagnon wins heat number 1.
Loving about stuffed Reese Bogue in the wall there. That was a big move for him to take over P2.
Well, that was a lot. That was 8 minutes. That's a third of what we're going to do in the main feature. And that was fun. That was a blast. That was good racing, hard, fun racing, and exciting to watch. Here we go. Let's walk through your results real quick. After 28 laps, Matt Gagnon wins by a second and a half over Steve Loving, Richard Regan, Reese Bogue, and Ted Lowendick. Then it's Nathan Deering, Zach Burnt, Mike Toomer, Nicholas Acosta, and Brandon Walter in your top 10. And then Nicholas Hunter back there in P11. All right, Skye, it's your turn. Walk us through the grid for heat number 2.
On pole in the 26 car, it's Robert Barney on the inside of the 2 of Steve Baker. Rolling back from P3, it's the 48 of Thomas Sink. Bradley Holly in the 184 goes from 4th. In 5th, it's Elliott White in the 3 next to Cody Cosgrove. Starting 6th in the number 6. Mark Kalin in the 62 goes from P7. Nicholas Gadina in the 25 from P8. And the last 3 cars in your running order will be the 43 of Matt Scherf, the 18 of James Morgan, and the 12 of Willie Brennan rolling off in P11.
And we are already rolling on through. This will be the end of our first pace lap. And let's come back to that topic. You see it happening again. There's this whole scrubbing thing, Skye. And this is one of those infamous iRacing debates. This is one of those things. I've been a member for 10 years. And all 10 years, there's a debate. Does this help? Does it hurt? Does it matter? Is it necessary? I don't know anymore. There's so many opinions on it.
I think it's just kind of a matter of driver preference if you think it helps or not. I personally have never really bothered doing it. I just don't prefer it, but I know a lot of drivers do like to do it, and they do think it helps them fire off better on restarts.
Well, there's a start-finish line. That means we're 1 to go this time by 1 to go before the field comes around and takes the green flags. We now know that it'll be all 8 minutes. They were 2 laps short last time. So do you think we see more of the same? Do you think these guys could have learned anything from the first heat?
We'll see. I think they definitely learned a little bit about where the line is here, and I think these drivers might be more willing in the second heat to jump up to that outside line and try to make some moves on it.
All right, well, let's get ready. Let's get the pace car down to the left-hand side. Let's let our leaders get in line, and let's get racing. You know what? It's Bristol, baby, and we're green flag racing. Riding on board with James Morgan, the back of the field. Watch his point of view. It's just going to be a big traffic jam here, Skye, through turns 1 and 2.
You got some cars running way further up. Oh, contact! The 25 car got major loose. That was Nicholas Gadina off some contact from down on the inside. They were 3 wide with, looked like Elliott White and the 43 of Matt Scherf through that corner, and I think all of those cars were lucky to get away without wrecking.
Let's go from the back of the field to the front. There's Robert Barney up front, side by side with Steve Baker. These drivers having a good time, and Baker gets just ahead in that red number 2 car and takes the lead here out of turn number 4 at Bristol.
Already almost a minute into this one. Time flies when you're having fun at Bristol Motor Speedway. Steve Baker's flying up there in the lead right now. Fastest lap of the race that last time around. Robert Barney will look to pursue. Going to put a little bit of a bumper to Baker coming out of turn 4, but the 2 holds on and holds the lead across the line.
We're seeing a little bit more aggression. One thing I think we're noticing different that maybe these drivers learned, Skye. We saw right last heat that that Gagnon just got up ahead. And everyone fight behind him as never mind. Let's come back to that. There's a dump that got saved. That's incredible. Is that Robert Barney? I think who saved that car in the blue and white and held on to it somehow.
That was Robert Barney in the 26 who barely managed to hold on to that one. He's now back down on the inside. Only dropped a couple spots. He sits P4 right now, but he's got that 62 car, Mark Kalin, up his outside. You'll see the replay right here.
Just a small little boot from Thomas Sink, and then Bradley Holly kind of helped ride him around. Bradley Holly just kind of hit him in the back end and kind of held onto that car, and everyone was good to go. I was going to say maybe they learned from Matt Gagnon. Maybe they learned that you can't be side by side and let the leader pull away, but, well, here we are, side by side, and the leaders are pulling away.
Yeah, we've had about 1 or 2 cars who have pulled away in both heat races so far. Last time it was a dominating victory from Matt Gagnon. This time Steve Baker and Thomas Sink have checked out. And with that accident behind them, they're only going to get more and more speed up there. Cody Cosgrove sits in P3 right now, started P6, so he's jumped up 3 spots to get onto the podium.
Doing a great job in that very bright multicolored car is Cody Cosgrove. And still, this battle right here, this is Robert Barney and Bradley Holly. They are side by side again. These two have not let up. Here's the gyro cam of sorts from Nicholas Gadina, by the way, up P7. Remember you talked about the banking early in the corners? Watch this right here. Look how much that lean is at Bristol.
Yeah, and then you look down at the apron and you realize that it's basically flat. That's how we had that spin earlier. If you get that tire down on that apron, it will spin you around. Car loose back there is Robert Barney. He started to drop pretty quickly through the field. He's now falling under threat from Nicholas Gadina. Barney was up running in that top 2 cars after he started on pole, and now Gadina's trying to get 6 away from that 26 machine.
And Kadina's kind of got the hardest job right here. He's not only got to worry about Barney up ahead, but he's got Elliott White in the 3 trying to now make the pass as well. So Kadina's got to somehow get around Barney, but also defend against Elliott White. And there's a car on the wall. That is the 18 car. That's James Morgan.
James Morgan taking a pretty big shot to that outside wall there. Was able to pull it off. It doesn't seem like the wall really slows you down too much or gives you too much damage. Oh, he had quite a bit of help there. Wow. Looks like that was Matt Scherf in the 43 down on the bottom, sending him up high.
Well, luckily for Morgan, this is not the feature. This is heat number 2. We're about halfway through it. This will set the running order for the outside lane in the main race. We'll do a grid inversion, and we'll have our main race up next. 25 minutes with 20-plus cars on the track at Bristol. You know, you said in the opening, Skye, this is not a combination that gets run a lot. And I'll be honest, after seeing it, I kind of wish it was.
Pretty fun. I think part of the issue maybe Bristol isn't a free track, so it doesn't run in the free mini stock schedule. There's Nicholas Gadina having a moment up there on the high side. You can make a lot of speed up there running the wall, but you also get very loose when you're up there running the wall, and Gadina paid the price.
Yeah, you're right. It's not being free content. It's going to be the limitation. These cars, I'm almost positive, are Rookie Series content for new iRacing members. You get to race these and the street stocks to get your oval license started. But this has been fun so far. A lot of good driving and a lot going on. There's the 62. And that is a very interesting looking paint scheme on that car. It's kind of like a 3-tone flames system going on there.
And he's under threat right now from Mark Kalin in the 62. You can't see it. I have a Crash Bandicoot paint scheme on that 62, so that's one of the funner ones that I've seen recently. Bradley Holly, Robert Barney, the cars in this line. Barney is trying to recover from those early incidents that sent him free-falling back to the field. But with only about 3 minutes left in this heat race, he's going to have to act quick. That's 62, trying to rope the top line to get some momentum. Kind of working for that car.
By the way, you know, we talked earlier about PSR being a community and all the stuff involved. You know, that some members of PSR, hold on, come back to that, because Caitlin has got the back end of Cody Cosgrove, try to get him loose, and he's going to get up under him. But Mark Caitlin and others are part of a fantasy football league that's put on by some of the premier sim racing drivers. Caitlin, Jeff Evans, a couple others were part of a 5-way tie to settle 3 playoffs places for the playoffs this week. So Caitlin made it in, Evans made it in, I think Doug Evans made it in, a couple others, including myself, on the outside looking in. So congrats to Mark Caitlin, but 5 players tied for 3 spots was a little chaotic.
I run a league with some of my buddies where, we're going to have a move right here. Look at this. Cody Cosgrove under threat from Bradley Holly, who just dove it in there up on the inside. They'll go side by side for P3. I'll tell you about my fantasy football team later, because these two are adoring each other for the podium.
Doing it. Oh, hello. Now we're less adoring and more like almost body slamming, like we're playing hockey out here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. I know we've done football games and baseball games. There's not been a hockey game out here, but Cosgrove and Holly are advertising for it.
Caught some hockey fights recently. I think we could fit a couple in here on the infield while we're at it as the 184 starts to slide backwards. Mark Kalin now up on the high side, trying to look to the outside of that is Bradley Holly on the inside, and Kalin is going to get the spot. Well, now, although it's a huge send for the 184, he's not going to make that stick. Kalin will have the momentum.
I'm not sure if it's just how the top lane is working, or if maybe a little bit of that door banging with Cosgrove got Holly all out of sorts, but he's fallen back in the field a little bit. Remember, this is not for the battle for the lead, by the way. There's 2 cars ahead. That's Thomas Sink and Steve Baker. They're up ahead. Sink is, they're both about a second ahead, actually. So this is the closest battle. This is 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Spoilers, by the way, the inversion is top 8. So the driver who finishes right there where Kalin is, right there in 62, who just got loose, whoever finishes in that spot right there, they're going to invert to the front of the field in about 35 seconds.
Bradley Holly is going to really want that 4th spot right now, because he is trying his hardest. Kalin gets loose out of the corner, and now Holly has the chance he needs. He's going to slide it a little bit up the racetrack. Kalin tries to get the crossover, but Robert Barney sticks the nose in there, and Kalin is stuck up top. And as they cross the line, Bradley Holly's up into 4th.
Two to go. Now a lap and a half to go for these drivers. On the bottom of your screen is the battle for the lead. Sync is all over the back end of Steve Baker, or trying to be. Up top, it's this 4-car battle. Can Bradley Holly hold on? If he does, he inverts. 1 lap to go at Bristol. Oh, Kalen with a big stint.
Yeah, Holly's up there in the middle lane. Kalen tried to get into the back of him there, couldn't do it. Steve Baker's going to come around. He's going to be the winner here of the heat as the 184 of Bradley Holly puts it all on the line for third. He won't get it. It's Cosgrove across the line in P3.
There you go. That's how it's going to finish. Barney the flagman.
Oh, and the Kalen is going to wreck Bradley Holly after the line.
Flag. All right, there we go. Results are up in a second, Skye, and they're all yours. Walk us through the results of heat number 2.
Steve Baker won, pulled it off by 2.5 tenths over Thomas Sink, and then it was a huge gap back to that battle we were watching for P3. Cody Cosgrove takes third. Bradley Holly fourth. Mark Kalen wasn't too happy about that one as he finished in fifth. Robert Barney sixth. Elliott White seventh. And then back from there, it was Willie Brennan, Nicholas Gadina, Matt Scherf, and last place finisher James Morgan in the 18.
All right, well, let's get right into the grid for the main race. Remember, the top 8 inverted. That puts Bradley Holly up on the pole with Reese Bogue to the outside in P number 2. P number 3 is Cody Cosgrove, and he's next to Richard Regan back in P number 4. P number 5 is Thomas Sink. He's next to Steve Loving in P number 6. P number 7, that's Steve Baker with Matt Gagnon back in P8. Matt won our first heat. Ted Lowendick and Mark Keelan round out our top 10, Skye.
Nathan Deering goes from 11th in the 5 next to Robert Barney in the 26. He was the pole sitter in Heat 2. He'll look to drive back up through the field. Zachary Burns in the 28 starts 13th. Elliott White in the 3 in P14. Mike Toomer Jr. in the 42 goes from 15th. Willie Brennan rounds out row 8. Nicholas Acosta in the 8-1-6 from P17 next to Nicholas Gadina in the 25. And rounding out your top 20, it's Brandon Walter and Matt Scherf. Last 2 cars in the field are Nicholas Hunter and James Morgan.
That is the look top to bottom of your 22-car field here at Bristol. You know, speaking of taking a look at things, we should quickly take a look back at last week's Skye. Remember, we said it's different tracks, different cars every week. Last week was the DW12s at Charlotte Motor Speed. What a wild ride it was. A couple good clean heat races, some cars flipping over, some big wrecks that ultimately ended in an amazing show. You know, at Mr. Hedge, sim racing is full of unforgettable moments, and Mr. Hedge iRacing Photography can help you capture them all. From your first win to your fresh liveries to heck, even those crashes you'll never forget. Mr. Hedge turns virtual racing into memories worth sharing. They're clean, they're sharp, and they're made for sim racers. Visit mrhedge.co.uk for more information. All right, Skye, here it is. This is the main feature, what we've been waiting for. 25 laps, 22 cars, but only one person can walk away victorious. Here it is. Pace car is down. Bradley Holly has control. He takes the green flag. It's Holly and Bogue up front.
Oh, already having a moment there. That 6 car down on the apron. He's going to have to find a way to get back up on the racetrack.
Oh,
He's going to almost go 4 wide there. It's problems for Cosgrove. He's going to go all the way to the back of the field after starting up in 3rd.
Holly's trying to keep ahead of the RBM co-owners of Regan on the inside, Bogue on the outside. And that is, in fact, Steve Loving again on the back end of watching the RBM race around. And there's Mark Keenan rounding your top 5. Quickly, Bogue looks to have the run on the outside on Holly. And they're going to come out of turns 3 and 4 up towards the start-finish line. And it will be Reese Bogue leading this lap.
Man, Bogue had that thing fishtailing up towards the wall there on exit of the corner. He was cranking it back to the right to keep it straight. Really driving that thing hard. He'll pull down now to the inside and get in front of that 184 car, Richard Regan. Now the driver on the top line looking to make something happen as they're side-by-side across the start-finish line.
Side-by-side, a little bit of door banging right there. That happened between Regan and Holly. Remember, those drivers are who helped finish up the season 1 battle of the championship with Regan and Holly. So they're still battling in the offseason, having a good time. But here's Reese Bogue, the young driver known for driving a short-track car in real life every now and then, is having an amazing run wheeling this car at Bristol.
Bogue's got that advantage right now in the 4 after losing quite a bit of spots towards the end of his heat race. He was able to invert up to the front row and is now doing a good job to hold that lead as he takes lap 6 battle's trying to go a little bit further back in the field. Robert Barney, we mentioned him as starting in 12th, someone who could drive his way up. There he is in P7, chasing down Matt Gagnon right now.
Yeah, Barney's up 5 spots on the day, or on this race, as you said. Gagnon's up 2, so both trying to work their way through the field. Gagnon, of course, won that first heat. He won it by like a second and a half, but that inversion has stuck him back in traffic somewhere he's not been all night long, as now he's on the receiving end of a bump from the 26.
26 car desperate to get his way back up the field. We know he's fast. He was really quick in qualifying. He was second fastest overall in qualifying. Just had that incident early and dropped all the way through his heat. He's a secret contender to win this one, I think.
Side by side, they keep going there, but up front, look at this. Now let's start to single file out. This is something different from up front, different from our 2 heat races, Skye. It's the 3, 4, 5 front cars, all in a single file, all looking for someone to slip up here. And that's maybe the story of these mini street stock or these street stock cars, is eventually these tires are going to wear a little bit, and these cars are going to slide up the hill. So it's almost like who opens the door first. As you see it happen right there with Robert Barney.
Richard Regan about dumped Reese Bogue for the lead of the race. There was contact between the two out of that last corner, and it was very, very close. That 56 is in hot pursuit. A little bit of a bumper tap right there as he's pushed in by Bradley Holly. It's 3 cars all in for the lead of this one, and we're not even a fifth of the way through. Here comes Regan back to the outside.
Regan's trying again. He's got maybe a little bit of momentum help from Bradley Holly down this straight. Oh, Bogue tried to close the door, and I thought for sure it was going to wreck both of them, but Bogue comes back down. We're still somehow at that time. Bogue tipped the yellow line. He's going to lose the speed. It's going to let Bradley Holly back in this battle.
Side by side once again for the lead of the race as these two continue to go at it. We've got some crashing going on further back as Regan is going to prevail across the line and take the lead that time, but the 4 is still fighting back.
Yeah, we're going to look at that wreck in just a second here. I believe it may involve
on the apron.
Some of the cars in the back. Yeah, there's a car in the apron as well. So lots going on to look at here. But up front, now it's Richard Regan. Now he's trying to use the outside lane. Oh, look at Bradley Holly wildly loose out of the corner. And now it's Regan up to the lead here and now down in front of Reese Bogue.
Bradley Holly's going to really bring the challenge there to that 4 car. We'll see if he can get clear. The issue is he needs to find a gap between the 56 and the 4. It's Cosgrove right back here. Contact with the 28. And that is a huge accident there for Gadina. That took out quite a few cars.
Yeah, Nicholas Hunter got some contact out of that. So, wow. All right, we're going to stay green. No need for a caution for that. They got the cars off the track and moving here. Already about 5 minutes in, by the way. It's 5 minutes out of 25, as I thought Reese Bogue was going to kiss the wall pretty aggressively there.
Zachary Burt, not Nicholas Gadina. My bad. Gadina's 25. Burt is the 28.
Watch for Nick Hunter right here. This is that wreck we saw a second ago. Here he sees the car come up the track. He sees avoided it. And he avoided the first. He avoided the second one, sorry. But yeah, he is hurting pretty bad, is Nicholas Hunter. So right now up front, side by side, Mark Kalin, Steve Loving having a pretty good run here. There's Matt Gagnon. He's worked his way up to back in P6, by the way. He's trying to get involved in this battle.
Oh, contact there. That's Mark Kalin right there.
No.
And we're going to go 3, almost 4 wide off into this corner. It's a big domino effect on the inside line as Kalin is slow. Somehow this sorts itself out, but we've got about 3 straight rows of side-by-side action, starting with Barney and Kalin.
Dude, that was wild. Like to have those cars all stacked up on that bottom lane and no one spun. No one got spun. No one had any bad moves. That was pretty amazing. By the way, up front, here's Richard Regan Jr. If we look up ahead of Regan, you'll see Skye not too much further, I believe, until we hit our first bit of lap traffic. That'd be a first. We didn't do that in either heat race. So now we can see how this plays into effect. Can someone use these cars as a rolling pick, a moving chicane, whatever you want to call it?
I'm still watching this insane racing a little bit further back. Started to clear up. Robert Barney is cleared through for 4th. Kalin cleared through for 5th. But Baker and Loving have not sorted out P6, and everything behind them is still fully up in the air. You've even got Zach Burnt back there. He's 2 laps down. He's just driving through the field after taking a faster pair on that car. Everybody involved in that one. And as we're stacked up one by one up front, Robert Barney is trying to join that group.
Man, this is just wild, isn't it? I want to advocate iRacing if you're listening. This looks fun. I know it's not a free track, but everybody owns Bristol. I mean, come on. This is one of those quintessential ovals that I think everybody should own on the service. Hold on, there's Richard Regan. and I thought he was going to get a small bump from Bradley Holly. Holly now and Bogue side by side. We've seen this before. Usually when Holly and Bogue get side by side, Skye, there's a little bit of aggression involved.
Holly gave a pretty good shot there to the 56 of Regan down the straightaway after getting a much better run out of the corner. He'll look back to the high side. We're starting to see these cars move a little bit more up the racetrack compared to how they were. Remember in the heat races, we saw them ripping the bottom. Now we're seeing them ripping the top on entry. The 4 is going to try to send it a little further down, but Bogue doesn't have the momentum, and Holly holds on for second. Here's a slide for Bogue. Not going to work.
And I think what's happening right now, a couple things to talk about. First, as far as these cars moving up, Skye, I think it's those tires wearing off. It's not a desire of the drivers to move up top. It's these tires aren't letting them maybe hold the bottom anymore. Here's our first bit of lap traffic. It's going to be the 25 car, and we'll see how Nicholas Cadena handles being lap traffic. Does it let him go? Does he try to keep his lap in case that caution comes out? Does Bradley Holly take the lead on the low side? Not yet, but boy, he got wildly loose.
Yeah, he's getting loose there. You can only push the high line so long as the 4-car Reese Bogue gets the outside wall and gets stuck in it. And this is going to drop him back to 4th now as it's Robert Barney. Started 12th in this race, already trying to get clear up to 3rd, but he can't quite get around Bogue. They're all loose out of the corner, and the 4-car has it back at the start-finish line.
I remember Bradley Holly of P2. That's that car, the purple and teal blue, or seafoam green, if you want to call it that, the 184. He came into tonight 1 point back in the points race from Mark Kalin. So currently he'd be good on that, I do believe. But now this is the battle. Now it's your leaders. It's Regan, it's Holly. They're around Cadena. Next up is James Morgan on the 18. That'll be Nicholas Acosta in the 816. Does everyone hold? Remember, those lap cars, they also have old tires. They're going to have a hard time holding the bottom of the track. But so far, so good. Your top 3 get on around. But Reese Bogue is now held up by Nicholas Cadena.
Yeah, Bogue's got a decent little gaggle of lap cars there. That's going to hurt him for being able to get back up to Holly and Regan in that battle for the lead. Holly with another send-off into the corner, but he wasn't able to make it stick. And back across the line, Richard Regan has the spot. Holly is going all out right now to try and gain spots, but so far he can't get around Regan.
Nope, not yet. Cannot get around, but I bet before this race is over, remember it's another, 15 plus minutes here. I bet there's a little bit of a bumper use here. I bet that Holly tries something aggressive to get around Richard Regan.
Oh, there we go, wrecking right in front of the leaders. That's the 2-car of Steve Baker getting major damage. He's probably going to be out of the race, or at least out of contention to win after that one.
I think I saw maybe Zachary Burnt down there as well. Let's watch this again. What's going to happen to Baker in the 2? Oh, got door banged.
Yeah, they were stacking up in front of him.
Car. Yep. Yeah, I think Burnt just tries to get around this wreck. Doesn't quite see where it's going. Thought he gets to the bottom, he'd be safe. Actually scrubbed the wall. Oh, he missed the car, actually. He just scrubbed the wall. So he'll keep on the track. Up top, now Richard Regan still leading Bradley Holly. It's Robert Barney in 3rd, and Bogue and Mark Kalin back to your top 5. But this is the battle right here. Still 14 plus minutes to go, Skye. I think this is going to pick up. I think something's going to happen here to cause this race to get a little more interesting before all said and done.
It was Lowendick trying to get a send on the inside of that 48 car of Thomas Sink as this battle continues to brew. Reese Bogue also in pursuit of Robert Barney in the 26. You can see that one just a little bit ahead of the picture. Bogue is that 4 car up there. A lot of battles going on. We're side by side for P5 now as well. Gagnus to the inside of Kalin, and we're still side by side for the lead. Bradley Holly has not made that inside line work yet, but it is not stopping him from trying.
Oh, big crash. There's Elliott White. There's a car up top. Oh, this is going to be a caution. There's got to be, I would think in a second. Ted Lowendick's around. There it is. Caution's finally out. Steve Loving's involved. Who is that? That's Thomas Sink upside down.
That was a lot of cars towards the front of the field. That took out 6th, 7th, back to about 10th or so.
I'm going to forget you did that. I'm just going to let that go right there that you did that. But I don't know if you know what you did, but shame on you for putting those 2 numbers together. But all right, well, we're under caution at Bristol. Remember, everyone has a fast repair here, Skye. And so we'll see if anyone decides to come down pit road. I would think if I was a driver in this car, I may want new tires. Well, here's what happened. Oh, my God.
Oh, That was a bunny
Whoa.
hop. I've never seen that.
And there's Cosworth. Is going right on through. Well, let's see what happens now. Let's ride on board first, and we'll talk about pit stops. Let's ride on board with Thomas Sink, and this is going to be. By the way, if you get vertigo or motion sick, be careful because he's going to end up upside down in a moment. Here's the wreck up ahead. He hits the 4 car, and we're on our.
That was a big skid. He's going.
Still going.
Running the marathon on the roof.
Oh, down on the bank or down on the flat part of the track. Sorry, and yep, that's where he stopped and. Got to get someone to help him come tow that car on away. Some cars are down pit road, by the way. It looks like it's going to be P9 on back. Oh, there's how he did it. He hit the 4 car, and up in the air he went. So actually, it's further than that. It's Bradley Holly and P5. So only 4 cars have stayed out here for watching this wreck again. And I think that time when they hit him, they were trying to flip him over, but didn't work here. So it's going to be Regan, Barney, Deering, and Brandon Walter are not pitting. Nicholas Cadena being told may have missed his pit stall. So there'll be 4 drivers on old tires here. And I got to be honest, Skye, with how these tires wear, I think those 4 are sitting ducks.
Yeah, we'll see how this shakes out, but I think the tire advantage will ultimately probably work out here for those cars that did come down versus the ones that are still out on the racetrack. 40 laps is a pretty big difference to overcome, even though fall off wasn't that extreme.
Oh, by the way, other story to follow. I was going to bring this up earlier and I got distracted by the replays. We're using the old dual pit road version of Bristol. So the top field, part of the field pits on one side, the back up on the other. Cadena missed his pit road. So that's why he's back down again as he forgot. Oh, we went down both pit lanes, I'm being told. Sorry, so there you go. All right, well, let's rack it up. It's Regan Jr., Barney, Brandon Walter, and Nathan Deering, your top 4. And then you got Willie Brennan in the 12, and that light blue, that old sky blue Richard Petty style car in 12. That's your first car on tires. Let's see what happens. Pace car's down, Skye. Let's get moving. Let's get back to green flag racing.
That outside line wasn't closed up. They were still trying to find their way back up to the lead group when that green flag flew, and this is going to make for a pretty disorganized restart. Reese Bogue clipped Willie Brennan there. That was a problem.
That's a huge problem right there for Reese Bogue, but all is going to be good for the moment, and Reese Bogue can get around. So these cars right here, Bogue, Brennan, Elliott White up in the 3. That's that dark colored car, that purple car in the bottom. He's on new tires. Look at him cook through this track.
We have drama everywhere. You can see that this pack is a lot more spread out than they were on that first restart. You got drivers single file from about, I would say, 10th on back as the battle is starting to close up a little tighter up front here. The 3 of Elliott White is going to try a move on that 99 car, Brandon Walter, and it looks like it's going to work out for him pretty well. Has that move up the inside. White is the first car who came down and took tires, and he's using them pretty well as he's now going to be able to get Robert Barney here in the 26, also on older rubber.
Look at that advantage he has. Look how much that car does hold. Oh, hold on. Oh, Reese Bogue got in the back end of Robert Barney. Barney's on around the bottom of the track, and we'll stay green for the moment. That's a big moment for Robert Barney.
Oh, we're wrecking further back. Nathan Deering around, too.
Nathan Deering on around in the 5. We'll see what may cause that in a moment.
And the 99 in the wall, too. It's all going down.
Well, it's all getting a little crazy for now. Less than 10 minutes to go at Bristol. And there's the 4 getting the back end of Robert Barney. We'll keep it going. By the bottom of your screen right there, there's a battle up front. That's Elliott White. He's trying to take the lead. He will take the lead here. Boy, with those new tires, watch this right here, Skye. It's like cutting through butter with a warm knife with how well he slices through the field. Here's what happened further back the field. They're 3 wide. That's Gagnon and others, and that's what causes Deering to get on the round.
Yeah, they were 3 wide for about 2 rows there, and it was really sketchy. The first group made it out okay. The second group, not so much. And Richard Regan Jr., who was dominant for quite a bit of this race, is now in free fall as Elliott White and Reese Bogue have both gotten around him now for those top 2 positions. White on 4 tires, Bogue on 2.
And there is Richard Regan falling back midfield a little bit. He'll now manage to Steve Lovey, who also pit here. Regan by far at the top of the cars who didn't pit. You have to go back to P12 and Brandon Walter to find the next one here. Oh, hello, Bradley Holly was well sideways there, but got it gathered up, and now he's under attack by Matt Gagnon.
Gagnon trying to work his way back into the field, has the fastest lap out of anyone so far tonight, but we haven't really seen him contend for the win at all. He sits there in 8th. Every single car who stayed out has fallen out of the top 10 except for Richard Regan, who's fallen all the way back to 5th.
Yep, Regan right now having a hard time learning maybe the value of tires. I think maybe he thought that maybe those other cars were going to stay behind him, Skye, that they were going to kind of be like a moving blockade, if you will, that those cars would kind of stay there. It would be Walter and Deering and others would kind of help, you know, create a buffer. Once that buffer went away, he just got swallowed up by new tires.
Yeah, that didn't happen. Walter's 12th, Deering is 15th. Those two cars immediately went back through the field like they had a ton of lead attached to the back of their cars. It did not go well, and Regan is just going to keep dropping. He's got Matt Gagnon making an easy move on him here for P7. And that 56, he is going to be on his knees praying for another caution because he is cooked otherwise.
There you see the time gap between Elliott White and Richard Regan. It's almost 2.25 seconds at this point. Regan lap by lap, red, red, red on the bottom of your screen. He is just losing time here. But right now it's Elliott White and Reese Bogue up front. That Reese Bogue comparison, that looks better, by the way. Bogue only about 1/4 second back off of Elliott White. And so we'll keep an eye on that as the next 7 minutes roll on here. We're now getting pretty well into this race. We're now over 2/3 of the way done with this main feature. We're having a good run here at Bristol.
White continues to hold that lead over the 4 car of Reese Bogue, who is trying to close in. But it's not happening right now. Elliott White is the dominant force. Started back in 14th, grabbed the lead on some pit strategy, and is not going to let it go anytime soon. That 3 car continues to make way at the front of the field with only 6.5 minutes left, less than the length of a heat race. Reese Bogue is going to need to do all he can to grab this spot.
Question now is, what does he have left? I think I heard you say earlier maybe Bogue took 2 tires, and that would be indicative of his pit road time. It's way shorter than his competitors, so I wonder now, can 2 tires race 4 tires? We're about to find out here. It's the 3 car up in P1, it's the 4 car in P2, and it's a huge battle back to the field. Steve Loving's right there, Willie Brennan's back there, Mark Kalen's still involved in this race. So these guys right here, they're kind of racing, I think, for the catbird seat. They're racing right here to be in the position in case something happens up front.
Instead, Kalen came into this race in quite a good points position, and he'll look to have another good points day to set himself up pretty well heading into the 4th of 5 races in this series. Not a lot of time left for cars to chase down Mark Kalen as he gets 4th.
Well, I hope you're having fun tonight watching this. About 5.5 minutes left here on this race here on Green Flag TV. We got a couple more broadcasts lined up before the holiday break. We'll take a look at that schedule in a minute. On tonight, the Beer League. Actually, I now know they're at VIR. That's where they're going to be. That's where we're going to take you after this. So the Beer League's over at Virginia International Raceway. They're not doing the Grand Circuit, by the way, Skye. So they don't get to say bitch corner in the broadcast. So I'm going to say it for them once and let that go. Friday night, the Zero Torque Racing League's at the Watkins International for their road course race. And then we'll wrap up our 2025 calendar Saturday night. The SRA Truck Series goes to Auto Club Speedway. I'll tell you, Skye, with the new truck update on iRacing this week, as we're watching Kalen and Loving fight hard, that truck race at Auto Club may be more brutal than this we're seeing right here.
We'll definitely see how that ends up turning out as we head down. Oh, big loose moment for Holly. Big loose moment behind him as well. Cars hard into the inside wall.
Wow, Gagnon took a big lick to that inside wall. And then Willie Brennan will keep on driving away. And there'll be some spots up and down the field. Lowendick's now getting around Brennan. Matt Gagnon, required repairs done for the day. Well, 4 minutes left. Here's the replay, Skye.
We'll see it right there, that 12 car and the 14 car. Major contact, like you said. Matt Gagnon, after dominating early on in that heat race, is now out early.
Oh, there's Bradley Holly. He got around Steve Loving, got a little bit of a boop in the back bumper. And now Loving is sliding like a bobsled around Bristol Motor Speedway in the Winter Series.
Where's Kalen trying to get the move? He's trying to get it going on the 27 car. Loving has that inside line. Just can't get clear off the corner. He was trying to, but it's not happening. And Loving will prevail once again on the top.
Hey guys, up front, my timing and scoring shows almost zeros between first and second place. It's almost a dead heat up front. Look at this. Here's Elliott White. Here's Reese Bogue. They're about to encounter a lapped car in 25. And oh boy, at that time of the line, I think it was Bogue barely ahead. Here they are, 3.5 minutes, 2 cars, 1 spot is all they're looking for. Oh, they're 3 wide.
Oh, we're 3 wide right here. This is with 2 lap cars and the leaders. Bogue's on the high side, clips that 25, is able to keep it straight, and now he's got the advantage of having the momentum on that high side. That'll get him the run out of the corner. Not clear of Elliott White yet, but the 4 car is working. Across the start-finish line, it's going to be Reese Bogue. It's just a matter of time now until he gets clear.
Let me confuse the numbers for a second. The 3 car took 4 tires. The 4 car took 2 tires. They're first and second on the track. There's 2.5 minutes to go. It's numbers everywhere. It's like a bad math exam you never studied for.
Yeah, they're still side by side. I thought the 4 was going to get clear there, and while he is still dominating, he's still the leader at the line every time. He's not been able to get ahead of the 3 car. Elliott White continues to push, continues to be a thorn in the side of Reese Bogue. And as we head down to the final 2.5 minutes of this race, we're side by side for the lead. And Reese Bogue, he's going to door Elliott White, and that'll finally be what gets him clear.
I think that's a bad move by Bogue. I think right now what you just did was you just put Elliott White behind you with 2 minutes to go. Because I think the best shot White has at this race is the old bump and run. What's the old quote? I just meant to rattle his cage. I think Reese Bogue's cage is about to get heavily rattled before this race is over.
It's under 2 minutes left, and Reese Bogue now has that advantage. But like you said, Elliott White has the 4 tires compared to Reese Bogue's 2, and he is going to try anything he can. Right now, he's up to that inside lane once again. Bogue was clear for a moment, not anymore. The 3 car has the advantage mid-corner, but the 4 will use that momentum, and he'll get back ahead by the time they exit.
There's a car up ahead, though. This car up ahead may help decide how this race winds out the next 90 seconds or so. We'll see what that blue and white car wants to do and if it can get out of the way here. Also live in the little box, there's a battle back there. That's a 4-car battle in a separate part of the track for P4. But now Elliott White, using those 4 tires instead of the 2, is trying to eke his way ahead. Now 1 minute on the clock at the line, about 3, maybe 4 laps to go.
Under a minute left, and Elliott White might have just done it, driving around Reese Bogue on the inside, has that advantage. Wonder if Bogue maybe used up those 2 tires that he had trying to push on the high side, and now the advantage might have swung back to White. They're going to come up on the lap car of Walter. He'll go to the high side, and Reese Bogue will follow the 3 through on the bottom. He's still clear for the lead of the race, 35 seconds left.
Keep an eye on Reese Bogue. I don't think he's done. I think he's planning a move. I think he's planning to see now he can use the bumper. I think what happened was White got a small bit of a draft down the straight from Brandon Walter and was able to pull up ahead here. But if Reese Bogue can maybe get a good momentum run here off of this car up ahead, can he make it happen? Let's see what's going to happen as that is Zachary Burnt up top. Here we go. This time by, we'll see the white flag. 1 lap to go at Bristol. Does he use the bump and run?
I don't think he's close enough. Elliott White has a 0.3 of a second gap, and that should be all he needs.
This time by, the 3 car, Elliott White, turns 3 and 4. Oh, Bogue way wide, but White will win at Bristol.
Dominating fashion for Elliott White over those last 2 or 3 laps. So we're wrecking behind him. Had to work for it with Reese Bogue, but once he got clear of that 4 car, he was checked out at the end of that one.
Boy, Nick Hunter, it was a rough night. That car wrecked multiple times throughout the race. But congrats to Elliott White. He is your winner in our 3rd race of the Winter Series for Premier Sim Racing, the mini stocks at Bristol. Oh my God. All right, well, with that said, there'll likely be no burnouts here. So let's go and take a look at our unofficial results and see how they lined up at the end of this race. It is Elliott White in the 3 car. He'll be P1 over top of Reese Bogue in P2. Bradley Holly is your 3rd car in the podium in P3. Then it's Kalen, Lowedick, Loving, Scherf, Willie Brennan, Nick Hunter, and Richard Regan Jr. in your top 10.
Back from there, Zachary Burnt, Brandon Walter, Cody Cosgrove, Nicholas Gadina, Nathan Deering, Nicholas Acosta, Mike Toomer Jr., James Morgan, Robert Barney, Matt Gagnon, and then your last two cars are Thomas Sink and Steve Baker.
And that's a look top to bottom at tonight's unofficial result. Wow, what a night it was, and what a pit call I think it was for Elliott White, taking 4 tires on the stop. And Elliott, how's it feel to come home a winner at Bristol?
Honestly, it feels good, even though I think it's like a off season for fun type of league. I mean, I'm pretty terrible at short tracks usually, and I mean, I still wasn't great today. I think I got pretty lucky, but no, it feels good to win something on a short track.
Is this the first time you've driven a mini stock car in iRacing?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And I'm gonna blame that on why I missed a shift on one of the initial starts. But yeah, no, it was a learning experience for sure. I didn't even realize they had 5 gears. But...
Did you learn that down the back straight somewhere, I'm assuming?
I was told that before
okay.
before we raced, without realizing it. I was just using fourth, which I mean, it was all we needed to use. But yeah, it was interesting.
All right. Well, a big holiday break is up ahead. Premier Sim Racing will not be back until January the 7th. So I'll use that segue to ask you my final question, Elliott White. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, that's I'm not a good one for this because I don't watch many Christmas movies. I mean, I guess I'd say Home Alone, maybe.
Go, solid choice. The first one.
Yes, because I think that's the only one I really remember.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, listen, Elliott, it's a pleasure watching your race. Congrats on the win, and we'll see you soon.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for the broadcast.
That is Elliott White come home in P2, and that means now that second place Reese Bogue has caught up with Skye Schreck.
Hey Reese, how you doing?
Oh man, good. How about you?
Pretty good. P2 tonight, but you weren't able to get it done. Tell me about that battle over the last few laps.
Yeah, you know, I got whatever wreck that was there off of 4, and I was like, well, might as well pit. I'm already back here, so I made kind of a 2-stop deal out of it. Took a little bit of fuel to hopefully get a little more swing weight in the rear to get the thing to turn a little better, and took tires there as well, and was able to get up there to the front. I think Elliott was saving some. I was pushing pretty much that whole run to get to him and around him, and then just kind of I got clear, and I thought maybe the top would have a little bit more grip for me. So I think in the middle of 3 or middle of 1, I don't know exactly what it was, I kind of slipped a little bit, and I'm like, oh, it'll be okay. I'll have a run off the top. But he was just able to power to my inside, and then from there, he saved stuff enough to get around me. And, you know, that little ascend there in the last corner, I knew I was never going to get to him. I figured I'd give you guys something to look out for.
Mini stocks at Bristol is not a combo that gets run super often. Were there any challenges they had to overcome out there tonight?
I honestly thought there was going to be more of a draft than there was. I really feel like there was no draft that could help. I mean, the heat race or the feature, like, even if you're directly in line, it didn't really get you a great run. You could stay about even if not, but, I mean, you could never, like, really make any headway down the straightaway. So, I would say besides the fact that there's no draft and just how bound up and tight it was, it's all fairly normal, but, you know, it was a good race at the end of the day, and glad it was as clean as it was.
Last question. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
I'll have to go with one that my dad's had me watch since I was a kid, A Christmas Story. He likes that one, I like that one, we all like it, and good old time movie.
Do you have anyone to thank tonight?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Premier Sim Racing. Thank you guys here in the broadcast booth for putting all this on. McConaughey Setup Shop, Stint Analyzer, and everybody else that helps out. We'll see you guys here soon.
All right, congrats on P2 tonight, Reese Bogue.
All right, that will let us wrap up with the gentleman who told us last week that he's like a negative score on the gift wrapping experience. It's Bradley Holly in P3. Brad, you did better at racing tonight than you do at gift wrapping, apparently.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely looks like a small child wrapped my presents.
How much duct tape is on the presents when you wrap them?
None. The folding is, let's just say,
messy.
Special.
All right. Well, I think you had a special night on the track. Looked like it was a lot of fun out there. The mini stocks at Bristol, not a common combo, of course. Looks like the tires wore off at some point. How much fun was that?
It was a blast. Probably the most fun I've had in a very long time in a fun race, and just be able to do some sliders and have some close racing and just bump and bang with your friends, and I was laughing the whole time.
Good. Glad to hear that. I guess I'll ask this one last race question. When that caution came out, there were 4 drivers who didn't take tires, never came down pit road. Were you surprised they didn't come down to take tires?
I was surprised who didn't take tires, but I was expecting somebody to do it. I knew that there was an advantage for a little bit, but it obviously tapered off after a while. And then not knowing if it was a single pit road or double pit road, I kind of got a EOL for entering a closed and exiting closed pit. So it kind of gave a couple drivers an advantage, and but it was fun coming back through the field.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up by asking the same thing we asked the top 2. What is Bradley Holly's favorite Christmas movie?
Die Hard.
Oh my God. Sometimes I don't know what to do with you. Sometimes you're a really good friend, and sometimes you think you know someone and they say Die Hard. It's just, I don't know what to do with you right now. Don't know what to do with you right now. Brad, congrats on P3, and we'll see you for the holiday break.
Thank you very much.
I hope I didn't hurt him there, but all right, Skye, I'm going to let it wrap up. What's your favorite holiday movie?
I'm gonna say Elf. Elf or Home Alone 2.
All right, I'm gonna finish out with what I think is the GOAT. We'll wrap it up by saying The Muppets Christmas Carol. Well, stay tuned. Next, here on Green Flag TV, this stream will head over to the Beer League. They're over at Virginia International Raceway. Once again, congrats to Elliott White. And on behalf of myself, Skye, Dustin, and many others, I want to say happy holidays and thank you so much for everything you've done for 2025 at Green Flag TV. Once again, for Skye, Schreck, I am Derrick Watson, our producer Dustin Ollis saying so long and good night from Thunder Valley.